Hello, my name is Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to my office. So, as of this moment, I have been on a break from BookTube for 2 weeks, which has been entirely unintentional and has everything to do with the depressive episode in a reading slump, which is fine. But that's where this comes in. So, today we are going to be talking about some routine switch ups that I'm going to be doing to try and pull myself out of this, whatever you want to call it. Everything's just kind of bad right now. So, what does that make me want to do? Change my routine up. So, let's talk about what I am changing. So, I really want to try and take control of my productive time in the morning. And I say this as someone who does not fit the normal, like, American daily schedule scenario. All of my best work happens very early in the morning. I am like dead to the world between 2 p.m. and like 7 p.m. Like my brain is just like, nope, you're done, everything's off, we're over it. Then I can be functional again at night, but it's not like the level of functional that I am in the early morning. My alarm goes off for the first time at 4:30 every morning, which is fine for me. Like, that's not a big deal for me. But instead of just doom scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and panicking and causing myself a good old morning crisis every morning, I will be setting a half an hour timer and reading. So, my ultimate schedule ideally would look like a 4:30 a.m. my first alarm goes off. By 4:45, I am starting my reading, giving myself 15 minutes to kind of pull myself together a smidge. And then from 4:45 to 5:15, reading. And then from there, I can just move on with my morning and do the things that I need to do. But today's day one. Let's talk about how today is going so far. So I got a half an hour of reading of The Wolf and the Woodsman done by Ava Reed. I have like 100 pages left of this book to go, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's not like a 5-star for me at this point, but like I'm still very genuinely enjoying it. I think I don't love the romance. It reminds me a little bit of like, I believe it was Serpent and a Dove that I hated, and it was like this romance between this witch and this like good holy Christian man or whatever. And I don't think that I like that. I don't think that like romances that span between religions in this capacity is for me. And that's not saying in like a casual tone of like the real world, like how we function. That's more talking in like fantasy terms. So we have our main character, I think her name is Vike, and then I believe our love interest slash side character is Gaspar. So she is pagan, has been hunted and destroyed, like her whole entire community, by the, I believe it's pronounced patricians. I believe it's pronounced patricians, but it's very clearly based on like the idea of Christianity. And we start with like Gaspar, who is a woodsman, who comes and he takes her away, and they go on this like quest through the woods for the most part after the rest of the woodsmen die, and they start to like fall in love, but I am just not vibing with it. You know what? If you are from a religion where you think that these people should basically just die, I don't really think that there should be a romance between those two. Or maybe not even that I don't think there should be, it's just that I won't enjoy it. I very genuinely will not enjoy it. So, like, I'm loving the story itself. I'm enjoying the characters and as individuals. I'm not enjoying them as a unit. Whereas, like, the supposed unit that we're supposed to, like, see them as. So, I'm really enjoying it. But now that this has been introed and taken care of, I'm actually going to sit and work on another project until it's time for me to go to work. There is ultimately, I have to learn how to draw moss. So that's kind of the goal for this morning, is to have a general idea of how to draw moss. So I guess let's get that started. Hi, hello. This setup is not very good, but I just got my Dunkin'. It's Friday. It's been about a week to a week and a half since I started waking up at 4:30, and the first thing I do every morning is read, and I'm finally feeling like a human again. I'm definitely not going to say that this is for everyone. I am a morning person. I do well when the sun is not up. So doing this has been really amazing. And I think that it's really been amazing because I haven't been waking up and immediately just going onto TikTok or Instagram, which has been really helpful. So I get up and I have to go into my office. I have to get out of bed, go into my office, and I read for half an hour with my little focus app. And I'll tell everyone all the things that I'm using to help me with this at a later point. But I read for half an hour, and then I go and I wake up my dog. By that time, it's about 5:15, 5:30, and her and I go for like a 20 to 30 minute walk. And this has been so nice because then the pavement's not too hot for her because it's starting to get warm up here, and she's old and she's fragile. So far, a week and a half in, I'm really happy. I'm adjusting really well, and I would recommend this. We'll go into some more details later. Hi, so I guess let's wrap this up. So I have spent the last, give or take a month, getting up at between 4 and 4:30 a.m. every morning and spending a half an hour reading. Now, there are some disclaimers that I want to kind of put out there. First of all, I am an extreme morning person. I don't function well when the sun is at its peak. I function better when there is, like, the sun is coming up, the sun is going down, or there is no sun at all. So, while I did this as an experiment for myself for, like, an early morning thing, this can ultimately work at pretty much any time of the day. This is more of like, I did it in the morning, but you can do it whenever. Here's how you do it. 2, I have a really, really hard time getting up in the morning. So if you are someone who feels like you're always oversleeping, you cannot get up in the morning, you physically cannot get out of your bed, this works really, really well. This is about the only method that I have found that has worked in the past, like, 10 years. 3, ultimately, I'm pretty much just responsible for me. So when I wake up in the morning, the only people that I'm responsible for in this world are me and my 14-year-old dog. And she's completely content to sit and sleep and, like, slowly wake up for like half an hour, 45 minutes every morning while I have my alone time. So, is this something that works for people with children? I don't know. I don't know what works for people with children because I don't have them and I'm not ever going to. So, I feel like those are my 3 disclaimers that I need to toss out there. But overall, this has been such a successful experiment for myself, and it's something that I think that I'm going to continue to do. Every morning, I set an alarm. Well, I set 2 alarms. I use the app Alarmy. I'm going to put their little icon right there. And it's this really cool app. Mine looks like that. There you go. And I set my first alarm, depending on the day, some 4, 4:15, or 4:30. And that one, the alarm will only turn off after you have shaken the phone like this back and forth 100 times. And that is like my initial, okay, let's wake up, like let's start to get your brain moving and grooving along. And then 15 minutes later, I set my second alarm. Now, the Alarmy app has a bunch of different ways for you to shut off your alarm, which is why I love this alarm app so much and why I use it. So for the free version, you have a shake setting, a photo setting, a math setting, a QR code / barcode setting, a memory setting. They also have like squat, typing, and step settings, but you have to pay for those. And I don't pay for them. I don't think it's necessary. I ended up using the QR code barcode setting, and I set it for one of my books that I have in my office. So that way, to turn off my alarm, I pretty much have like, I think it's like maybe 30 seconds at most. I don't even think it's that much, to get out of bed and to walk into my office and to scan the QR code on my book. And that is the only way it will shut off. It will not shut off any other way unless you physically turn your phone off. And it's very effective. Like, the key thing is that I have to set it to something that is not in the same room as me. It has to be all the way in my office. So it works, and then I sit down in my nice cozy chair and I open up my next app, which is on my iPad. It's not on my phone. And this app has been a lifesaver for me, honestly. It is called Focus Plant. So there are a ton of focus apps. I know there's like the Forest app and the Flora app and whatever. I really like this one. So you do little focus settings, and then you get to grow your own little monster plants. And there's this little whale, and he gives you little raindrops, and through every focus session, you collect more raindrops. And they have, like, the Pomodoro timer settings that you can do. They have a stopwatch setting that you can do. They have a regular countdown timer. And it is so incredibly helpful. It makes you want to use it because it's cute, it's fun, it's easy. And there's a good chunk of interaction that goes on with this app that I feel like the Flora and the Forest app don't have. And I use this every morning, pretty much. And I love it. And I use it throughout the day too. It makes you, I don't have it on my phone, I have it on my iPad, but it still makes me not want to pick up my phone. So it's basically just 30 minutes of uninterrupted reading for me every morning. And it's like you get a little treat. You get to water your little plant. And it's just incredibly helpful. It also helps you keep track of how much you are actively reading, and not those little like couple minutes like I'm picking up a big book and then I'm walking away and on and off. Like the time that you're dedicating to sit down and do something. And you can also label your focus sessions. So I have focus sessions for reading, writing, video editing, stuff like that. So you can see exactly how much dedicated, sit down, uninterrupted time you are putting into each of your things. And it's something that you can refer back to as far back as you need to. So I found that it was incredibly helpful. Truly incredibly helpful. Ultimately, I think that doing this experiment really helped me rejuvenate my reading, rejuvenate like how I function throughout the day. And, you know, there's this whole thing with autistic burnout. So I feel like I'm definitely starting to like teeter over that burnout mode because of my job, because of my lifestyle, because of the way that like my schedule is currently working and my exhaustion, and because summer's coming around and I have a really hard time in the summer. So I feel like me building this routine for myself lays a really good foundation for me. So if you are looking for a sign to try and do something like this, I think that this should be it. It's really successful. Do it with whatever time frame you really need. Please don't feel like you need to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That was literally just a preference for me. That was not me forcing myself to do that. That was like a bodily preference. You know, that's when I function well. Listen to your body's internal clock. That is very important. If you need some reassurance that this works, I did this experiment all while I was reading The Priory of the Orange Tree and Day of Fallen Night. It ends up being over 1,600 pages between the two of them, and I flew through them in a pace that ultimately was really fast for what they are. So I think it's worth it. I'm going to leave like the links to the apps that I used, or like the names of the apps that I used, in the description below. And I think that this is a really good way to set a routine, especially if you are someone who is autistic or who is having a hard time with your mental health right now. You're really prioritizing yourself, listening to your body, listening to your needs, and taking time that is solely just for you. And that's really what this is. This was an experiment to set aside half an hour at the beginning of each day for me to just exist as myself and to do something that is only for me. So it worked out really well. I'm hoping to do a couple more experiments coming up and playing around with my routine a little bit. Trying to figure out timings for things and trying to delegate different amounts of times to different things. So you will probably see more of this stuff on my channel soon. I hope that everyone is having a fantastic day. If you want to stick around and do some lifestyle experiments focused around reading and writing, you can subscribe, and I guess I will see everyone later. Bye.